You know, our apps are constantly talking to each other at lightning speed. But have you ever stopped to think, how do we make sure those conversations stay, well, private? We're going to dive into a really fascinating research paper that tackles this exact problem. It offers a super clever way to bake privacy right into one of the fastest communication tools out there, gRPC.
Okay, so before we get to the really cool part, the solution, we've got to understand the world this problem lives in. We're talking about modern software. And in this world, speed is absolutely everything.
So think about your favorite app, maybe for ordering food or shopping. You might picture it as one big single program, right? Well, it's not. It's actually more like a whole team of smaller, specialized programs all working together, all in sync, just to get you what you want. And that style, we call it microservices. And this city of shops idea you see here, it's the perfect way to picture it, right? You've got one shop that handles user accounts, another one for payments, maybe a third for tracking deliveries. And for the whole city to function, all these little shops need to be talking to each other, like all the time. And they have to do it fast. So how do they actually talk to each other? Well, you've probably heard of things like REST or GraphQL APIs. Think of those as the big public-facing shop windows. But for all the internal chatter, the backroom operations, they use something different, something built for pure speed. It's called gRPC. And you can think of it like a super fast, dedicated courier service that just zips between the shops. It's so efficient because it uses these compact data formats and runs on the latest web protocols. Basically, it's the high-speed nervous system of that digital city. But, and this is the big but that this research is all about, what happens when that super fast courier has a bit of a privacy problem, a blind spot, if you will? Yeah, exactly. See, gRPC was built for one thing, speed, just raw performance. But focusing so much on that meant it kind of missed out on the sophisticated privacy controls that we really need today, especially with modern regulations. The analogy here is perfect. It's like having a courier who's unbelievably fast, but shouts the contents of every single package for everyone to hear. Because now we have these new citywide rules, things like GDPR. And these rules are way more demanding than just, making sure the courier's truck is locked. They introduce really important principles. First, there's data minimization. That just means a service should only get the exact data it needs to do its job and absolutely nothing more. Then there's purpose limitation, which means you can only use that data for the specific reason you ask for it. No funny business.
So here's the bottom line. gRPC, just as it is, doesn't come with the tools to handle these tricky privacy rules. It just doesn't. So what happens? Developers are stuck. They either have to ignore the rules, which is a huge risk, or they have to build their own custom, clunky, and probably error-prone solutions for every single service. And that is the exact gap these researchers decided to tackle.
And their solution? Oh, it is just so elegant. What they came up with is basically a smart, configurable privacy checkpoint. It's something you can just drop right into the middle of the communication path to act as an automated gatekeeper.
Okay, this diagram shows how the whole thing works, and it's really clever. So it all starts on the left with a central authority. That's the PAP and PDP, which stand for Policy Administration and Decision Points. Think of this as the main office that sets all the privacy rules. This office issues a signed digital permission slip to the client, which we'll call Service A. This slip is actually a JSON Web Token or a JWT. Now, when Service A wants data from Service B, it shows up with this permission slip. And here's the cool part. Before Service B even sends a response, that privacy checkpoint we talked about inspects the slip, enforces the rules, and figures out what data Service A is actually allowed to get back.
So what's the magic trick here? How does this checkpoint work? It's something called a gRPC interceptor. The best way to think about it is like a security guard standing in the lobby of an office building. This guard can check every single person and package coming in and going out and apply rules, all without ever having to disturb the people actually working inside their offices. The main business logic is completely untouched.
And that permission slip, the JWT, that's really the brains of the whole operation. It's just a small, secure digital token, but it's packed with all the rules. It might say something super specific like, okay, Service A can see the user's city, but definitely not their street address, and it can only use that city info to calculate delivery times. It's that granular.
Now, the specific part of that intersector that does the heavy lifting, the part that actually reads the permission slip and enforces the rules, is called the Policy Enforcement Point, or PEP. This is our diligent checkpoint officer. It takes the JWT, looks at the data that's ready to go out the door, and makes absolutely sure it all follows the rules to the letter. So let's walk through it step by step. It's pretty straightforward. 1. The client gets its signed permission slip. 2. It makes a request and attaches that slip. 3. The checkpoint officer on the other end checks the slip to make sure it's legit. 4. The officer reads the rules inside. And 5, the most important step, it actually alters the response data based on those rules before sending it back.
So how does it actually change the data? Well, it's got a whole toolkit at its disposal. It can use suppression, which is just, poof, completely removing a piece of data like a phone number. It can use generalization, making things less specific, like turning age 25 into age range 21 to 30. It can even add a bit of random noising to hide an exact value, or use reduction to shorten things, like turning a full zip code into just the first few digits.
Okay, this all sounds amazing, right? But I know what you're thinking. If you put a checkpoint on a superhighway, aren't you going to cause a massive traffic jam? What's the hitch performance? It's a critical question.
Well, to find out, the researchers did the smart thing. They didn't just run some abstract benchmark. No, they built this into a real-world style application, a food delivery platform. You know, the kind of app where different services are constantly slinging around sensitive data like names, addresses, and what you had for dinner last Tuesday.
And the results? Honestly, they're pretty impressive. Take a look at this. A normal gRPC request, one with about 52 different pieces of data, took around 5.6 milliseconds. Pretty fast. Now, with their privacy checkpoint running at full blast, I mean applying the most complicated rules to every single field, that time only went up to about 10 milliseconds.
So yeah, that's an 81% increase. And that sounds like a lot, right? But let's put it in perspective. We're talking about an added delay of less than 5 milliseconds. For context, that is way faster than you can blink. In the absolute worst-case scenario, the performance hit is barely perceptible to a human.
And really, that's the key takeaway here. Is there a performance cost? Yes, you can measure it. But is it worth it? Absolutely. It's a completely reasonable trade-off when you consider what you're getting: automated compliance, lower legal risk, and the ability to build privacy in by design, right from the very beginning.
So let's bring it all home. What's the bigger picture here? What does this mean for the engineers and developers who are building the software we all rely on?
You know, I think the authors themselves said it best. They've put forward what is basically the first reusable way to combine these really important privacy techniques, like data minimization, and bake them natively into the gRPC framework. That's a huge deal. At the end of the day, this isn't some academic exercise. It's a practical, configurable, and reusable tool. It gives developers a real way to stop treating privacy like some checkbox you tick at the end of a project. Instead, they can build it right into the foundation of their systems. And that doesn't just make life easier for compliance, it's how you build real trust with the people using your software.
And that really leaves us with one last big question to think about. This research proves that we can engineer privacy directly into our systems, by design. It's not an impossible dream. So if we can do it for privacy, what's next? What other ethical principles can we, and maybe should we, be building directly into the technology that shapes our world?